Okay, so this evening I want to talk to you about Hati and Skoll. These are the wolves of Norse mythology who chase after the sun and the moon, respectively, seeking to swallow them, to consume them. And I want to talk to you about the connection between Hati and Skoll and Rahu and Ketu. And anyway, we're going to have a fun discussion because by looking at these two together, we get a deeper understanding of our own human condition and what it is that we need to do as humans to evolve and also just enjoy what we can out of life. So, neo.thunderwizard.com, courses.thunderwizard.com to look at all of the things that I have available, all my books, all my video teachings, DVDs, services, astrology, runes, that sort of thing. Subscribe and hit the bell button. And so, just to let you know before we go any further, I do have an astrology special going on right now. For the Christmas season of 2019, I am offering 50% off all of my astrology readings. That does not account for any of my apprentices. They have their own prices, but you get half price of mine through 2019. It's a great gift. If you've already gotten a reading from me, you know how valuable they are. Give a gift to somebody that you know and do it fast because whenever I put these sales up, I get orders very quickly. So there you go. All right. So I'm also going to put up here the link for my astrology, which is astrology.thunderwizard.com, because we are going to be talking about Vedic astrology a little bit. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be talking about Hati and Skoll. Hati means hate, and Skoll means mockery. And so why is it that hatred is chasing after the sun, seeking to consume it? And why is mockery seeking to chase after the moon and consume that? And we need to also take a look at Rahu and Ketu. So Rahu and Ketu in Vedic astrology are the north and the south nodes of the moon. And it is said that whenever there is a lunar eclipse, it is Ketu. And whenever there is a solar eclipse, it is Rahu. And so what does this mean? Well, before I go any further with that, let me just say a quick thank you to my producer, whose name is Grace Channeler. She is a producer level subscriber at thunderwizard.com. And so she is providing a lot of support for the channel, and you can check out her website at gracechanneler.com. All right, so hatred is going after the sun, which is equivalent to Rahu. So what does Rahu represent in Vedic astrology? Rahu represents that which can never be satisfied. That which can never be satisfied, a hunger that can never be quenched. And Rahu does have, I'm not going to try and speak for Rahu, but Rahu definitely, when you look at the mythology, he has a resentment towards the sun, for sure. And so whenever there is a solar eclipse, it is Rahu seeking to swallow the sun. But because he doesn't have a body, he's only a head, the sun comes out of the bottom of his neck. So he's always hungry. He represents desires, appetites that can never be satisfied. That's why he's connected with addiction, compulsion. And he represents desires that bring us into manifestation. And but those desires that he represents are things that will never bring us true satisfaction. So the idea is that your soul came into being to experience three-dimensional reality and to fulfill its desires. And these desires will have a connection to past life issues as well. So wrapped up in all of that is also regrets from past lives. And let's talk about karma, for instance. Negative karma. You know, there's no such thing as negative karma. Karma is neither positive or negative. It is just simply it is the result of your actions and your beliefs. Belief is an action. It's the result of your actions, the things that you went after in previous lives that actually turned out to be not helpful for your ultimate spiritual evolution. So bear in mind that we're here to make mistakes. We're here to make mistakes, to realize what is most important, and to grow from that. So Rahu represents that. And so hatred. What is hatred? Hatred is not the opposite of love. The opposite of love is apathy. There's nothing more cruel than somebody who just doesn't give a crap about you. People who hate you, actually, they care about you. Hatred is simply the flip side of love. You can't hate somebody unless you love them first or want something from them. You need something, you want something from them. Even if it's, you know, you think you hate this group of people who might come into your country because they're taking your jobs. Well, you believe that they're stealing something from you that you want. So there's a need, a desire that you have that you believe is being taken from you. And so that hatred actually is coming from the desire to have something. In this case, a job. You want a job, you think somebody took it from you. You hate that person who took that job. It comes from a desire. So hatred is connected to desire. If you have no desires, you have no hatred. And mockery is chasing after the moon or the mind. The mind is not the intellect, it's not the brain. It is the part of you that is able to reflect. It is also your emotions. Your emotions are connected to your mind. Emotions are a result of craving, of desire. There's something that you want in life and you either get it or you don't, and that will create an emotion. Fear. You fear something because you want to preserve your life. You, again, are angry because somebody is blocking you from having something that you want. You love somebody, you want to be close to them, you desire them. Want means need. You have an emptiness you want to fill by being closer to somebody. You're confused, you're frightened, scared, angry. These are all results of having desires. If you don't have desires, you don't have these emotional reactions. So mockery seeks to destroy your peace of mind, which is what the moon represents. When the moon and the mind, when the mind is healthy and full and happy, then you have this peace about you. And you have the ability to reflect the spirit, the same way that the moon reflects the sun. But when your sense of self is damaged and you don't have confidence in yourself, you don't have satisfaction within yourself, then emotions go crazy. So that's why people who have self-confidence, the more self-confidence they have, the more calm they are under pressure because they know who they are. People who don't have a sense of self, the less connection you have to a sense of self, the more intense and the more varied your emotions will be. Just like when wind comes over water, it creates waves. The symbol of a calm mind is the moon reflecting off of a completely calm body of water. Somebody who's agitated emotionally, those are the waves in the ocean. Whenever you have fears of drowning, it's a fear of being overwhelmed by your emotions. So a truly calm, fulfilled mind brings peace. So mockery is shame. You're shaming somebody out of their self-confidence. You're not good. You're a bad person. You're not worthy of this. How stupid of you. How silly of you. I can't believe you couldn't do that. You're such an idiot. Mockery, shaming somebody. And it's trying to knock you off of your groundedness in your own identity. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I've had a real revelation as to, in order to truly be comfortable, you must have a strong sense of identity. You must know who you are. And that is something that is given to you in childhood. Between the ages of 0 to 2 is when you are given your identity. And it is from your parents loving you unconditionally, giving you nurturing, giving you love, mirroring back to you. Have you ever watched like mothers with little kids? And the little kid will make a noise, ooh, and the mother will go, ooh. And it's something all mothers do. I think it's built into them. I mean, fathers do it too. But it mirrors back to the baby and lets the baby know that they exist and they can see themselves in the parent. This is just one way, but that's an obvious way. And it shows that the parent is mirroring back without any agenda. In other words, the baby goes, ooh, the parent doesn't go, not ooh, oh, not ooh, oh. They don't correct them. They mirror back. The symbol of Mother Mary looking at the baby Jesus. When you see those paintings, she just has a slight grin on her face. You can tell that she has this calm, neutral love that has no agenda. And so the baby is staring up with their big eyes at mama's love without any agenda, and they see themselves and they create a sense of self. That sense of self is absolutely crucial. Without it, our emotions go haywire. We have no control over them. And people who have gone through this and have suffered through this as adults, they can't regulate their emotions, and they cannot regulate their thoughts about what other people are thinking about them. They're extremely sensitive and very reactive, and it's a very difficult way to live. And without a sense of self, you can't love. You can't love and you can't receive love. And without that, you can't actually get anything done in life, because you have to have a sense of self in order to ground your thoughts, your intentions, your desires, your plans. They have to get rooted into a sense of self that carries over you into the next day, the next month, and you're able to take action on those decisions and those feelings. So people who have a non-existent or a very damaged sense of self are the people that are incapable. I mean, I've come to this conclusion. They're incapable of actually accomplishing anything. And it's not that they're bad or they're wrong. It's just that there's no sense of self, no earth to root into and then grow from. The good news is that people who have this, they can get help and they can recover, but they have to go get qualified help. They got to get help from a qualified psychologist who knows how to help the person craft and create a sense of self, and give them exercises on how to be mindful in the moment when they have their emotions flying all over the place. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. So, Rahu and Ketu represent, first on Rahu's side, that which will never bring fulfillment. So, in the sense of Hati, which here you see the wolf, hatred, chasing after the sun, seeking to devour the sun. The sun represents your identity, your spiritual self, your true identity. In Norse mythology, you have Odin, the god of highest shamanic awareness, the god of complete self-awareness. And he achieved this by sacrificing himself to himself, which means he died to his emotional self and was reborn in his spiritual self, small s to big S, self to self. And so that gives a sense of identity that goes deeper than anything. And that's ultimately what we want. Hatred seeks to destroy that. And again, hatred is coming from emptiness. When you come from a place of emptiness, then you are intimidated by everybody who has a sense of self. You are angry. You feel jealous of what they have, so you seek to destroy it. So this is why people who are, like narcissists, who are constantly jealous of others, are constantly seeking to destroy and take other people down. And so Rahu is representing that. When we get trapped in our desires that become obsessive, that become compulsive, that become um, unfulfilled, where we can't find any fulfillment, addictive, then that actually separates us. Because in order to be chasing after something that you don't really need, you have to have the feeling that you need something, that something is missing. When you are fully complete in your soul, then you realize that the universe will provide everything that you need. And so you have no fear, and you have no you have no need that takes you out of your integrity of your own soul. So that is Rahu. Rahu represents the illusions, the delusions, the desires that can never be fulfilled. And the ultimate end of what Rahu brings is at the end of that life, hopefully, sometimes there's multiple lives involved, but hopefully by the end of that life, you are saying to yourself, you know what? I thought I really wanted to be king of the world, but now that I'm king of the world, it's really not all that fulfilling. So you die with that knowledge. Next time around, you don't care about power. You know that that is not where fulfillment is, and you will seek fulfillment in something else in life. Even spirituality. Whenever Rahu is in, let's say, the ninth house or the fifth house, or even the 12th house, what it means is that you have a desire, maybe just like a deep compulsion. You might have an obsession with spirituality. If I can only gain this spirituality, I'll be saved, I'll be okay, I'll have everything that I need. Well, in that lifetime, you will become a monk or a priest or a priestess, or you'll become a mystic and you'll spend your whole life in the wilderness meditating, and then you'll go, that really didn't give me the satisfaction I wanted either. And so this is what happens from life to life. And this is what Rahu represents. And this is what Hati is representing. Actually, what you're seeking for is spiritual fulfillment, but with coming from a place of fear. So you're trying to consume the sun in order to achieve that. So the other wolf, Skoll, is chasing after the moon. So Skoll is chasing after the moon, and Skoll is mockery. Now, how does this apply to Ketu? Well, Ketu is the opposite of Rahu. Rahu represents your desire for something, and Ketu represents the apathy towards it. It's like you wherever Ketu sits, it's going to show you something that you've mastered in a previous life that used to be Rahu, that something you really wanted, and when you got it, when you mastered it, you went, this doesn't bring ultimate fulfillment. Oh well, not a big deal. In this lifetime, there will still be some karmic attachment, final karmic attachment that you need to finish up with, and then once you do, you won't need it anymore. I'll give you an example in my life. I've got Ketu in the 5th house in Sagittarius. So that's a very spiritual sign. That's a very spiritual setup. The 5th house represents mantra. It represents performance. It represents acting, being a musician. It represents studying spiritual books and astrology and mantra and those kinds of things. And so what's interesting is that early in my life, I was very interested in study. I was very interested in studying spiritual things, esoteric spiritual books, mythology. That's why I know so much about mythology. I was constantly reading about it. And, I got really into spiritual musical things like shamanic drumming, the African shamanic drumming. I got into playing end-blown flutes, and now I don't really care about it anymore. But I've mastered those things, and when I teach them, people tell me how great it is. When I perform, people tell me how great it is. But like these days, if you wanted me to get me to act in a film, you'd have to pay me a lot of money because it's a lot of work. I don't have any desire for it anymore. I've mastered it, but I don't care about it anymore. It also, fifth house represents children, and I've never had any desire for children in this life. And whenever I've, interacted with children, parents always tell me, "You're so good with kids. You should be a dad." Well, obviously, I've done it in a past life. It just looks like a hell of a lot of work to me, and I wouldn't get any satisfaction out of it. So this is what happens when Ketu is in any of your houses, whatever Ketu, wherever Ketu is. He takes away the pleasure of it. You master it, but there's no joy in it. It's just not a big deal to you anymore. And so the mockery comes where Ketu says to the mind, where the emotions are, because emotions are associated with being wrapped up in the illusion of life. We have emotional reactions. We think that things mean something, that our personal emotional reactions to things have meaning. And and that's the beauty of life, by the way. It's, having emotions, crying at a beautiful sunset, seeking out art, relationships, whatever it is. For me, it's going out there and surfing on a beautiful day. Though at the end of that day, I'll have a tear in my eye because it'll be such a wonderful thing. So emotions really bring vibrancy and life to this physical reality. But Ketu says, this physical reality is an illusion. I'm only interested in the truth that goes beyond the illusion. So Ketu mocks your emotional reaction, your emotional investment in this illusion. And so wherever Ketu sits, if there are other planets sitting there, what will happen is that Ketu very often will take the pleasure away of that. I've seen a couple of different times where Ketu was conjunct Venus. Venus is pleasure, but specifically pleasure in relationships, pleasure in sex, pleasure in friendships, a pleasure in the things of the flesh, the things of human interaction. And I've seen in a couple of cases when Ketu has been conjunct. This isn't always the case. So if your Ketu is conjunct Venus, it doesn't mean you'll experience this. But I've seen this happen with a couple of people who just couldn't get any pleasure out of romantic relationships, personal relationships. The moment that they connected with somebody, they would go, this is just nonsense. And it was very sad because these people were deeply lonely and they wanted very much to connect, but every time they did, they would just go, "This is ridiculous. I've done this before. It doesn't mean anything." And so it took the pleasure away of the relationship of wherever Ketu was. So the solution for those people is that since Ketu is all about spiritual truth, if those people have relationships that are based on spiritual connection, spiritual truth, then Ketu will say, "Okay, I'll let you connect here and appreciate this because we're going towards spiritual unity." But the moment that the relationship becomes superficial in any way, Ketu will say, "This is nonsense and I'm going to destroy it." So Ketu mocks the emotional connection. Because what the mind does, it wants to connect emotionally. Very much like Venus. It wants to connect emotionally and intuitively. And Ketu wants to destroy that illusion wherever possible. So that's why the wolf that is chasing after the moon is mocking the moon, shaming the moon. Because without a sense of self, without self-confidence, the mind has no place to ground itself. And so the mind and the soul are inextricable. You can't have one without the other. And that's why the mind is the reflection of the sun. You can't have a moon without the sun. Without the sun, there is no moonlight. The moon only has light when the sun bounces off of it, at least from our perspective. So these two are connected to each other. And The mind is what humans are. Humans are called man, M-A-N-N. And man means human, but it also means mind. It means the moon. And so, since we are mind, it means that human beings are the only being, physical being on this planet that has the ability to reflect on the soul. Animals don't have this. They don't have a mind, otherwise, we would call them that. Only humans have mind. And the ideal human is different from a dwarf. A dwarf and a human are different. A dwarf looks exactly like a human. There's a lot of dwarves walking around. And what that means is that their mind, their spiritual identity, their spiritual reflection of their soul has not been awakened. And so they're seen as not being fully human. They're humanoid, but they're not fully human. So, dwarves aren't little creatures that run around with funny little hats. Those aren't dwarves. Dwarves look just like humans. So that's, I want to talk more and more about this. I'll probably do some live Q&As, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about Hati and Skoll. If you want to know where your Rahu and Ketu are placed, you can go to astrology.thunderwizard.com. And as I said, 50% off of astrology readings for the Christmas season. Astrology.thunderwizard.com. So that's it for me. Go ahead and check out my other links here. neo.thunderwizard.com. That's also a great gift, by the way, if you want to give somebody those things. Because look, you need to know the 4 tools in order to master this universe. It's really important that you understand it. There's a lot of spirituality out there. People have false assumptions about who they are and their relationship to the universe. The universe responds to fearlessness, not fear. So if you have any victim mentality garbage, you got to get rid of that. You don't have to, but if you don't, then you'll always be this tiny thing being, manipulated by something bigger than you. You are everything. You are God. You are the infinite. So when you understand that, then you can understand the rules of how to get this universe to respond to you. So neo.thunderwizard.com will teach you that. Courses.thunderwizard.com, everything that I have that's available, go on there. If you have any questions about how much does this cost, where can you get that, where can I find your books, where can I get your DVDs, courses.thunderwizard.com. Subscribe, hit the bell button. Go to thunderwizard.com if you want to learn shamanism, advanced shamanism. If you want to master shamanism, go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe at the entry level. You'll get access to hundreds of hours of videos where I teach a very in-depth, it's a huge course that you can practice on mastering shamanism, ritual, energy work, intention, spell work, energy work, I said that already, shamanism, rune work, all that stuff, thunderwizard.com. And then you can look at the other things that are available there, and you can support this channel. You want to hear me do more videos? Go to thunderwizard.com and support the channel. Okay, so, thunderwizard.com is important for me because that lets me know, how much I'm earning every month from this. I have multiple income sources, but that shows me how much I'm earning from this, and it tells me how much time I can spend just doing these videos, doing the live Q&As. So if you want to see more of me doing more of these videos, go to thunderwizard.com, subscribe, and support the channel. All right, that's it for me today. I look forward to talking more about this, and yeah, we'll just take it from there. All right, talk to you soon.